So we're going to talk about just Sentai today. I mean,
Right.
we'll probably get sidetracked by something, but we're talking about just
No.
Sentai, the new one,
Oh.
number one
We are-
Sentai Gozyuger by our
Gozyuger.
one and only Akiko Inoue, and then we're going to finish up Boom Boonger. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the banger, right? We're gonna hit with the heat.
Well, I mean, they're both bangers. Spoiler, right?
Gozyuger,
So.
well, the more heat, I guess.
The
Gozyuger.
hotness, if you will.
The new hotness, yes, new hotness.
Okay. Well, so you think about your words. I'll break it down for anyone who doesn't know what this is about so far.
Yeah, please.
So this is our head writer's Akiko Inoue. If you guys don't know, that is the Inoue's daughter. And essentially, we have a battle royale Sentai. These are going to be the 50th Sentai. It's the 50-year anniversary. If you guys don't know, it's the 49th Sentai, but it's the 50-year anniversary.
Yes.
So this is the number one Sentai. The entire thing is trying to ward off the darkness, as they call it. And this Sentai is going to have to pretty much beat all the other ones to get wishes granted. So that's the theme here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's going to be interesting. And we already have a cameo in episode 1. So I feel like that's going to be kind of the trend of how we get the cameos right away.
Is it? So is it the cameo of the actor playing the same role in a different way?
How they're going to get 2 cameos in one. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a minute because that's
Right.
But yeah, so this is apparently there was a apocalyptic event that wiped out all of the Sentai mecha.
Everything.
Literally the robot graveyard, they call it. And this almighty weapon called the Tega sword fell into a slumber. And so our Red Ranger, we'll get into how, but he awakens it and it starts this chain of events that's going to build the Sentai team and send us into the future of the Gozyugers. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Just, first impressions. There's a lot of things that literally were tailored for me.
Right
in this first episode, and I was like, did they watch the show? Did they watch the channel? Is this for me? Is this one for me? Akiko, thank you.
Okay, so I'm glowing about it. Let me get the one negative, and then it's positivity from here on out. Okay. My one negative is it was exactly the kind of slapstick humor that I thought we were gonna get.
Yes,
but it's not too much.
No.
Yet.
I will say my negative, I guess, air quotes, it's not even bad. It's just, it put a feeling deep down in like the 7th foot of my intestine, that weird like area of this feels like an heir of Dawn Brothers. And like, and this is someone who has not watched a lot of Dawn Brothers. I'm just throwing that out there. We watched, how many did we watch? We watched the first like 10 or so, I think, for the podcast.
18 is our limit.
Yeah,
that's
usually
kind
it's
of
around 16. That's when I know Don to Tiger or whatever the hell his name is did not show up by the time we finished it.
No,
we may have only watched the first like 2 or 3, honestly.
I got up to Stacy, really.
Stacy
Stacy.
Zenkaiger. That wasn't even Dawn Brothers.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't even.
So like, I did not watch much of Dawn Brothers because I did not like the vibe. This had like you catch a whiff in the hallway of your apartment.
Was it?
I smell a little Dawn Brothers in here.
Was it for you? Was it the hot dog water in the eye? Was it that?
That was whatever it was. It was just the general vibe, and then particularly there was a thing that made me go, "Oh, this is an Inoue. This isn't one of the Inoues absolutely did this." And it was during the fight, and I wonder if you picked up on it too, because boy, did I literally watch it and go, my eye like twitched, and I was like, did they just reference that show? That's insane.
Yes,
because no one probably watched it other than us. So we actually reviewed it on the show when I mentioned it.
You did actually. You should check that out in the list here. But bro, set aside all that. Mm-hmm. Were you taken in by how pretty everything was? Were you taken in by the dynamic of how they chose to film this? It was filmed like an anime, you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
they chose very weird shots for live action,
yes,
but I think it was to make it feel like an anime. And
yes, and that's an Inoue thing. I feel like Dawn Brothers kind of had a similar thing where it was very like video gamey almost. Like this had a very big video game feel, like video anime, especially particularly fighting games.
A fighting game, yeah. You're like, oh my god. So there's a whole sequence where it's straight up you couldn't tell if this was not a fighting game. You know what I mean? Like they did it well, where it was convincing. Where I'm like, oh, okay, not bad. Like, and well done.
I don't know if they were like, hey, we have a couple days left on the lease for this LED room, but the LED room came back from King Ozier for like half of this episode. At least, and probably more, probably like 3/4, honestly, which was fine. Like, I honestly never felt it was very, it was never very offensive to me. It was. It took a minute to get used to, but like the LED set of King Ozier wasn't ever very like offensive to me.
Everything was so high fantasy, though. It kind of needed to feel.
It worked, right? Like it worked in the. It wasn't like it was trying to be Tokyo CG, and they're just we don't have enough money for the street license, so just shoot it in this LED thing.
Inverse, what we're doing here is we're very, very much set in modern day, maybe modern day. I don't even know.
And then we get like sucked into CG world randomly.
So a lot of the episode. heavy themes on like circles and the ring, allegories. Everything has to do with circles in this. For this theme, whatever, it's working. I'm not saying anything against it. I just noticed that there were circles in literally every shot, and I'm like, that's a lot of effort. But okay, we're that's something that I'm gonna follow.
I feel like that's one of those things where they're not gonna hold that out for 50 episodes. I mean, there's easily ways you could just throw a ring in a background, right? Like on a sign, on something like that. You can just have a circle somewhere. I feel like how prominent they were, though, is not something that's going to be constant. The one thing I did really like was how they did the episode title right in the beginning. It was on the soup. And I thought that was really, really cool. Even though, like, it said it right next to it, but it said number one, you know, savior, whatever. Savior ramen or whatever it actually says.
Like, I think it was the low-key vibes of everything. For it being touted as this big event, it built up to that pretty quickly. But like I said, the first couple minutes, especially everything up to the fucking hot dog water in the eye, I was like, what's happening? Where are we going?
Just like dive into this dude who like is very much not a Red Ranger, and he's standing next to the Red Ranger we just finished up with. Taya Hanto is standing right next to him, but his name is not Taya Hando.
Now, mind you,
Tutsumi. And it's wild because he is like I feel like when you think stereotypical Red, he is kind of acting that. And then you have Tono Hoeru, whatever. And he is our Gozu Wolf, our Red Ranger this season. And he is literally a terrible employee and like couldn't give a shit about what is happening. He is, when you guys hear anyone who's worked in retail joke about the 1,000-yard stare, he has the fucking 1,000-yard stare.
And he calls that a smile. Yeah, that's a smile.
And then someone goes, hey, you should smile more. Like, any retail worker hasn't fucking heard that in their life. And I was literally like, my king, please, my king, tell him how it is.
I have a permanent crease on my face because of freaking customer service.
My resting bitch face is because of retail. So
I swear, I was always told, hey, brighten up, man. Everything's fine. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm literally fine. Do I need to? This is for everybody. Here.
The amount of times I hear, hey, you seemed kind of pissed yesterday. Is everything okay? I was like, it's literally just my face. I don't know what to tell you.
You want to see pissed? You.
Yeah, and they're gonna pull that fucking Dorkosaurus out. Nice try, kid. Like bullshit on them. I'm like, not my mad face. You'll know when I'm mad.
That's the secret. Is I'm always mad.
That dumb shit. But yeah, like Tono has this face on, and it's so funny. And Taya literally goes, "Hey man, like, boss is on your ass. You should smile more." And he goes,
so like, yeah, and okay, so like it really hard cuts because immediately the moment following, they're being robbed by horrible actor number 7 with the knife, right? Yep. And he's like, "Give me the money and the thing," and Hoeru, obviously he's he's cooler than cool already. You know what I mean? Like he didn't stress the guy.
No,
he disarmed him, took the knife, saved the hot dog, and was crying because the hot dog almost hit the ground, and like. Immediate contrast to the whole moment, you know what I mean? Like he's like, give me that, and then immediately he's saving this hot dog, crying over it.
Yeah, And he says
that's
like
my
people like me, this is a luxury to people like me because he's fucking broke all the time. We come to learn.
That's what he said because I'm like, why? What is happening?
He tells the robber that hot dogs like this are a luxury to people like me, and you should respect the hot dog.
And then he gets fired for it.
He gets fired because he grabs 3 of them and goes, "This is my tip for the day."
That should be okay. So yeah, I was justifiably mad. I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, this guy saved like I don't know what, $17 in the register. Like, come on. Like,
all I'm saying is like there was a solid 4 feet between that counter and where the shop owner's body was. That little 6-inch knife was not getting to him.
Lethal. It was lethal.
It was lethal. Like that. Lethal. It was so small. Like you could get stabbed and walk away and be fine. Like.
You wouldn't even notice till like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit! Like it's just you walk out of work and it's like, oh yeah, that happened today. I forgot. Yeah, no, that's cool. Like
shoulders been itching for like weeks.
You okay? You okay? It was hilariously tiny of a knife, and like size doesn't matter, but this thing was fucking hilariously tiny.
threatening, no, but anyway. So yeah, so it sets the trend that he's this ultra badass kind of irresponsible character who just goes with whatever's gonna happen. He has no ambitions or drive of his own because he doesn't have it in his heart to have one anymore.
Yes,
and
he's literally what every anime protagonist would be in the real world, and that's kind of hilarious.
They dropped the lore on him pretty hard in this episode, so I kind of figure like we're delving into what the Reiwa era is, and this is the era of trauma. Yeah. If the Neo Heisei era and the Heisei era was, I don't even know how to correlate them because what we experienced throughout the Heisei was pretty traumatic, but
it was in the moment trauma. This is all about past trauma.
and it's emotional trauma. Like this is character shaping shit. Yeah. And especially that last little bit we got on specifically Taya. Holy fuck. We will get there because that's stuck with me, and it's just eating at me this whole time. But anyway. So yeah, he's this Tono Hoeru is also a traumatized red, where we get this vague glimpse of a memory of what I assume is his mama.
Yes.
And telling him
who looked familiar. Could you tell who the actress was? She looked familiar.
You got me, man.
Okay.
I was still wiping away the tears from Boom Boomger while watching Gozyuger.
Gotcha.
So a lot of this probably went over my head, but if it is his mom, then she's the one who literally told him, bury your heart in essence, don't have any dreams or wishes.
Yeah, you'll get your fucking heart broken again and again. Don't have a dream. As she fades away.
Right. So some shit has gone down in this guy's past, and we're gonna get there hard, real quick. I assume.
Maybe quick. Maybe we'll just kind of get something every 20 episodes, then be like, oh yeah, I forgot that was even a thing. So.
It's possible because we did get the
kind of how Tai ended up being, but I'll talk about that later.
So what do you think? What do you think of Hoeru's energy, man? Like altogether, he's dynamic and irresponsible and fun, but this is going to be a long 50 episodes.
Like I appreciate that his motto is I can't keep a job. Yeah. If that's not the sentence that describes him so well, I don't know what is. Because this dude's kind of a bum. Like he's kind of like, and it's literally like I said, it's if a normal anime protagonist, like your standard issue anime protagonist, was like a real person and how they act in real life, this is how it would be. They would just be fired for all the dumb bullshit that they do all the time. And it comes to find out that like Taya Hando is like the only friend he has. And even that gets stripped away from him. So, like, I think, you're talking about, how damaged. I feel like it's going to be that kind of thing where, like, if you guys don't know, a lot of the, like, versus movies in Sentai, actually every single one of them, starts with them fighting and then becoming, like, friends and working together by the end of the movie. I feel like that's going to be that for the entire show. You know what I mean?
They don't take like 5 minutes to talk to each other. They just start throwing
No, and if they did, like literally sometimes it's like a simple text message would have solved the entire problem. But
oh my god, that's the one so true. But we did get Baron out of that, drive and Gaim crossover.
Yeah.
So I'll take that.
Sure.
But anyway, A Baron. I'll call him A Baron.
Mhm.
Damn, that was so sad when he slumped over and dead and shit. Anyway, the before all that though, the lore. I wondered the lore here.
Mhm.
You said it was the darkness, right? But they didn't
That's what they
specify.
call it, yeah.
Right, they didn't specify it was a single enemy. I'm thinking this is a massive force. There's something that has to have been so massive to wipe out every single tech, because if they're saying Tegasword is what robot Jesus, you know what I mean? Like essentially, if he's like this ultra powerful thing, every ring is a fragment of his power.
So
right?
he's not necessarily Jesus, he's the conduit for all of their power. Like they mention how all the remaining ones chumped, put all their power into him as the savior. And
remaining,
so he kind of got that moniker from it.
You say that. I think there was only like 3 or 4 beams.
Yeah, there was only like 4 of them there. But
like,
if you guys watch episode like 00, it's pretty much like the last few like Boondarios there. All the ones you see like clearly in the pile in the finger up picture, the Kabuto picture, the fucking Gunpla battle picture. All of the ones you can clearly see are like the 4 or 5 that like pump a power into the Tegasword, and then it defeats this Galactus cloud. It's the only way to describe it. It's a Galactus cloud.
It's always the Galactus cloud. Yeah.
I'm assuming, and I think this is a very safe assumption of where we are, that cloud has to do with what happened to Hoedu. I'm assuming because clearly Tega and Tono are tied together somehow.
True.
So I'm going to assume whatever happened then affected him because Tega even tells him like just collect all the rings, you'll find your purpose, man. Like you're losing a lot, you lost a lot of memories here. You don't even know, and like it apparently Tega kind of knows. So I'm assuming he was in Tega when this all went down.
So what? Okay, because obviously we're not gonna know anything.
No, this is literally the first 20 minutes of the season.
Right. But surprisingly, they gave us a lot beforehand to work with. They didn't do anything like this for the Boom Boongers. They just kind of like, here you go. So
I don't think there was any kind of like episode 0 for the Boom Boongers.
No, and I know it's because of the whole anniversary thing, and it's getting this big thing, and I really hope
they want to hype it up.
They should, because it really deserves to be. And the whole thing with this Tsutsumi situation is that it's not even implied that it's Taya. So we keep calling him Taya because that's who we know him as. Yeah. But it's not implied. Yeah. It's not implied. It's not inferred. There's not like, oh, I was in an alternate world type thing. No, he's supposed to be this other guy. Yep. And the thing about this other guy is when the shit hits the fan and then the what are they called?
I can tell you in just a second. Keep talking.
When the enemies show up, it's a switch.
Ares? I think they just call him Ares. like the god almost. Ares.
Oh. I'm going with the mobile suit. So the Ares.
That's like King Candler. There you go. That's the suit that shows up. The guy.
Oh.
Yeah. That's Fire Candle, and he's in the King Candler.
The Shard knockoff thing, yeah. The red
like the thing he fights, yeah. No, I thought you meant the jobbers, the putties are the Ares.
Jobbers, yeah. The Ares. Okay, so the Ares show up and they start attacking people, and that's when Tsutsumi, however you say his name, he actually shows that he already possesses one of the rings, and when he changes the dial, strangely and metally, he becomes Kuwagata Oger by using the device for
a silver Tegasword.
Yes, excuse me. So it's a silver version of the Henshin device that they use, and the whole thing there just put me through a loop because it was just the previous guy using the previous power with the next sequential device. I was
so he's been classified as a universe warrior. So I think again, this is how they're going to kind of get a duo cameo. They can do the suit and an actor, not the actor for the suit.
Right.
So as a universe warrior, they could probably remix who they play that way, because I think it's kind of like the AR worlds in Decade, that sort of thing, where it's them, but it's not them. You know what I mean?
Right. So it's just like Super Geo. Like if Geo did a fucking spin of the top on top
or decade,
of
whatever. Yeah, it's the AR worlds, the alternate realities. Yep. So that's how not Hando is able to turn into Kuwagata Osier, who actually has some new fucking powers, which is pretty cool. Because I don't remember him ever doing the cape thing. Ever.
The cape thing? Well, he had something with the cape in the earlier episodes,
but it never hardened like that.
Once he got the king form, he didn't really use anything. So yeah,
I literally don't remember him ever using the cape like that. And like, so in the new episode, he uses the cape. It hardens, and he can create a shield, and he just like whacks people with it. It literally hardens like the jewel that they use to transform. The I forget what they're called, the soul gem thing, the bug soul. I forget what they're called, but it hardens like with that material, the mantle that they all wear. And he's able to like whip it around and use it like a shield, like I said. And he like ties someone up with it and like hardens it so they can't get away.
Cool.
It was so really cool. Yeah. And you know, he's using, should mention this too, he's using the Kuwagata Osier like Sentai ring, because they have the rings that the Gozyugers have seen, which all look terrible even in the show, by the way. They're so terribly painted. It looks like a toy, and it bugs the hell out of me.
It is a toy, man. They're not even hiding it anymore.
It's kind of like the wizard rings looked fine, and then the infinity ring doesn't look great as a toy. Like it looks way cheaper than the other ones. These look like the toys, literally. Like they painting looks kind of weird and smudged, and like maybe it's just the material for like the gem. It just they look bad.
They figure if it all looks bad, then it'll just be okay.
But it doesn't all look bad. That's the problem. So like when this looks bad, it looks worse than everything else. But he turns the Sentai ring and puts it in the silver hand, and then that's how he changes. We're getting multiple of them. You can order a whole bunch of them on Tokusatsu already. They're probably gonna come out in sets, like legend sets, kind of thing, like they always do.
Is it another Chemi card situation?
No. This is just you can get them in like 6, 8 sets kind of thing, like they do with most of them. Anything that's not a fucking Chemi card, essentially. They always do like the legend ones that are together. Like they've been doing it with the Gachizos for a little while now.
Oh, I need one of those, man. One of them.
And I got this little guy right here. That's what I got. It's Swarumalu.
Swarumaru. That's the best one.
It's not Fuamalo, but it's his pink brother. So yeah,
we'll talk then. So take me back to, because at one point, Hoero gets taken. I don't know how. How does he end up being taken into that parallel world?
Yeah. So as what are these guys called? The fucking dudes.
Aries?
No, not the Baridon. Yeah, Baridon. Fire Candle, the dude who shows up. He's clearly one of the lieutenants of like the bad guys that are showing up. He shows up in his big bad guy lieutenant mech. It's called the Fire Candler. The King Candler.
Super anime, dude. He is super anime.
He's got a fucking like Zhao Yu staff that's on fire and everything.
He's laughing like Kefka and like, or not Kefka, Kuja. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like he's super crazy, and he calls himself the #1 savior, but he's talking about like blowing up the planet, which is interesting because clearly this is, they say he's got to destroy the worlds essentially to like be the #1.
No, because the first thing he said is, "So this is one of the worlds we created."
Yes.
That's cool.
King Candler or Fire Candle says that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like,
we created, and it's like, ooh, wait, what?
wait. No, you don't just say that.
Yeah, you don't just drop that and then don't say fucking. He doesn't say a single fucking thing to elaborate after that. But when he's in a mech, literally a fucking mech, like they all have. And he's fighting these two dudes. One is the Kuwagata Osier and, Tono before he gets a suit or anything. And he's just blasting them with fire. And Tono goes flying. And he goes flying into a literal warp hole, like a universal butthole that just like opens up. It's literally a Hokamundo throat. And then it like closes after him. Which, throughout the episode, as soon as this Fire Candle dude showed up, he started hearing a voice in his head. And then we come to realize that it's Tega that's calling to him.
Yes,
it just keeps saying number one the whole time. Yeah, it was cool. And so he gets transported to the robot graveyard where Tega is like in a cocoon essentially, and it's like giant hand form because the mech is just a giant fucking hand, which I didn't think was going to be cool it turns out it's really fucking cool.
It's cool. Everything. But that's the thing. Is like no matter how stupid or ridiculous, it looked cool as shit. So like
they do it unapologetically, and I think that's what makes it so cool. Like,
right.
They know it's just a big dumb fucking gold hand, but like when that comes out of the sky like a fucking deity's hand and just hovers over everything, it's like I'm gonna squish you.
I got heavy Albion. I was like, oh, it's the Albion in like a hand
just
form
coming out of the clouds. Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
Light behind it too.
I was like, more. Anyway, yeah. So you're right. He gets taken there, and that's when the one villain lady shows up.
Her name is Bouquet. Yep. Yep.
She was talking shit to Candlefire because he's just goofy, and she's like, "We got to focus on whatever the fuck we got to do here." Yep. And she's going after this ring that's embedded into the wall. That's some red shirt.
Not even just a wall, like an altar. It's literally a fucking altar in front of Tega in this robot graveyard, and it's glowing.
Like Mikola set this shit up. You know what I mean? Like so.
Exactly.
So it is sitting there like waiting for somebody who's not the guy who fucking goes and just snatches it up.
It's not Ares number 7 who just goes to fucking grab it.
He's like, hey, I got it, puts it on, and it fucking eats him, bro. Like, it's just it's like, oh, because at first it's not like instant. He like contracts and then he gets pulled in. Like, so he gets turned into putty, and nobody knows what happened to him. But of course, everybody's like, what do we do? And Hoedo's like, mine, so I'll take that.
Yeah, and Bouquet's like, you can't. You're a dumb human, baby. You can't do that.
Like, yeah, watch.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but I'm just gonna take this. So
yeah,
he literally says something like, I'm just gonna fucking take it though. So it's cool.
Something like that. So like,
because that's his personality. He's like cool anime boy. That's what he does.
It's Nero. You know what I mean? Because it's not quite Dante cool. It's Nero cool. He
gives slightly too much of a shit. Slightly too much of a shit to be Dante.
Exactly. So it's like, Nero.
Yeah.
You can always tell like Nero's like halfway through crying in every fucking scene.
Yeah, and like Dante is just kind of like fumbles his way to saving everyone, but like he does it on purpose. That's kind of the charm of Dante.
He's already figured out how. He just wants to make it look like an accident.
He just wants to have a good fucking time. He watches a lot of movies and wants to be a fun anime boy. He's Goto if you guys don't play DMC. He's fucking Goto. Because if you haven't played DMC, I'm sure you've seen fucking Jujutsu Kaisen. So
Gojo.
There you go. That dude. Satoru. That dude.
Yeah.
White boy.
Yeah.
The whitest boy you'll ever see in anime.
no Gojo without Dante. Just saying, no Gojo without Dante.
Without Dante. Without Hideki Kamiya.
Yeah, let's just go.
You just see pictures of that dude. You're not surprised.
Flowers where they really belong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that. So yeah, it's really funny because clearly these people are like, I don't know if it's Akiko or the director specifically, but like whoever made these decisions is clearly a huge video game fan. Video game fan. Ryota Tasaki was the head director for this one. He also did Pretty Guardian, Sailor Moon, Cutie Honey Live,
of course,
and multiple Mega Ranger, Car Ranger, Ginga Man, a whole bunch of fucking Sentai and all this kind of stuff. Oh, he did like 12 episodes of Dom Brothers, it looks like, the major ones, first couple, and then the last couple. And then he directed the movie for Dom Brothers.
Got to be where they were working together, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's where that energy comes from, I'm sure. Like just the vibe of it. But yeah, there's a lot of like just video gaminess to this whole thing, because like at one point when Tono comes back with the ring because he puts it on, and Tega comes to him and is like, hey man, what's your wish? Like, you become number one, you get a wish. And that's when we have the flashback to the mom, and he's like, yeah, I don't have a wish, I don't know what to tell you. Tega's like boy.
I mean, but legit, like you could tell like he was like, interesting, we'll work with it. You know what I mean? Like,
but then he was also like, you don't even know, period. Like, you just don't know. Right. And he was like, collect the rings, the shit will start coming back to you and you'll get a wish, I promise.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, so that's when fucking Albion Hand comes out of the goddamn sky and he comes back.
No, don't downplay that. That shit was so damn good. I'm sick, like, dude. Oh my god. I'm like, he's fighting and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, oh wow.
Because like I honestly, because like it's chilling there. It looks like if you guys have seen the toy, it's just chilling in like the Tega Hand mode, like the sword sticking up and everything. Like he just they carry it around. I was expecting it to like transform to the robot and then just descend kind of thing, like the typical, not the fucking golden hand of God coming out of the clouds. So
fuck, this hand of mine burns with an awesome power, bitch.
Legit. Like, oh. And so like Tono's in the cockpit outside of his suit, and I was like, are we really gonna get a first episode where they don't transform? That's wild.
No, we got it. We got a hell of a transformation.
We did, but like he does the entire. The other interesting thing is the mech fight comes before the suit fight, which was wild.
So we got to go through that whole thing because, like we said, it had like heavy fighting game elements setting this whole thing up.
Yeah.
So like literally, you got the announcer announcing the combatants.
So
you have
he comes down and then he has an actual like DX Tega sword in his cockpit that he transformed. The fucking toy. He literally has the toy and he's holding it like the goddamn.
Yeah, I was like, Akiba. Akiba.
Yeah. He's got the fucking toy and he like puts it into the console and then the mech itself transforms, which is crazy because if you guys don't know, the actual transformation device becomes the mech. So he like transforms his transformation device and it goes into the mech and then the big hand transforms. And that's how he gets the Take a Sword Wolf is what they call this version. We kind of went through it when they revealed all of them, but this is just the standard redhead one that he has. And it's crazy. It's crazy because like
sick.
Sick. It's so cool. And I never thought, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna like I don't know. But like it's fucking cool.
It has this look of like peak design. You know what I mean? Like how do I say this correctly? It looks more like a Gundam than it does your
it looks like a mech. Yes, it absolutely looks like a mech. It doesn't look like a Sentai mech. It looks like a fucking mech.
That's where I'm going with it. Like it looks more like an armored core or like a whole different thing, but it's working.
Because like I'm sure at some point they're all going to combine, but this looks like it's not going to get all the bullshit attached to it. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to figure out how they were going to do that, and the only thing I was like, maybe they're just going to like multicolor a main or something.
I have a feeling they're going to kind of do like Zenkaiger, and I think Dawn Brothers did it too. No, Dawn Brothers all combined to the Momotaro dude when he transformed, when they turned into the Shogun looking dude. I think they all went to like Momotaro as the body. But Zenkaiger, when they did the big one finally, they had like another piece come in as the body. It was like a rocket ship or something. I forget what they connected to, but it was like all of their forms connected into this thing to make the big one. So I feel like it's probably gonna be something like that.
Good. Either way.
Yeah. But either way, like this is really good, and it also like reminds me of, if you remember Megatron in Transformers Armada, he has like a 5-headed dragon form where he's just a floating hand for one of the forms he transforms into. Yeah,
I didn't know that. That was cool.
It reminded me of that. I was like, this is it's unlocking things in my brain right now.
Like us, it didn't disappoint me. Like I had one. I only was worried that it was gonna be completely like over the top. Like, dude, the hot dog water,
but it worked.
Right, okay, I'll give you that, but it didn't get any worse than the hot dog water in the eye thing. You know what I mean? Like that was
fine. Like I was kind of like, wow, this is kind of dumb, but like it wasn't anything like, wow, this is a waste of my time. You know what I mean? Like some of those, that's kind of how I felt like Zenkaiger when we stopped watching it. Like some of this is like, why are we even fucking here right now? But like I can see how those could get old 10, 15 episodes in, if that's what we're gonna keep doing. You know what I mean? They just have to use it sparingly. That's all.
He does have one character trait where Susumi bought him a burger after he saved his ass and worked up an appetite, and he was really focused on repaying that.
He always repays his debts. He can't hold down a job, but he always repays his debts.
So and he's actually living with I don't know who it was, but a lady who is helping take care of him. But
Sajiri was her name. I forget. It's something Sajiri. I just saw it on the list here.
Wherever he stays.
Here you go for guys at home. This is the fucking hand of God picture. Yeah. It's insanity. Like he literally just comes out of the clouds like this, and it's just bathing in sunlight. It's great. But when he does, when he's inside of the cockpit, he goes into this like virtual like world with fire candle, and it's literally a ring, and he goes, oh, this seems fitting, and he has his insignia on the ground on his corner. It's a boxing ring, by the way, just throwing that out there. And it's the boudin, whatever they're called, on the other side, and Candle comes down, and like this is totally imaginary. Candle comes down, and then he comes and he's chilling in there, and they have their little like fight, and that's when the announcer you mentioned shows up, and he's like, "Get ready to fight, number one Gozyuger." He's got like he's like, he looks like the Sam Show like announcer dude, but like has an actual mask on. And then this is the part I was talking about. Did it remind you of anything? This particular section when they were like introducing the two of them?
The Gundam fight, dude. Like I was straight up,
but particularly what was going on in the background. Does it remind?
No.
We looked at a toku, so it immediately reminded me of Shogeki Go Raigen when they do their character announcements and there's this huge splashes behind
backgrounds. Them. Yeah.
And they have like the little dancing dudes like it reminded me so much of that. I was like, this is a fucking Inoue family thing. They eat this shit up. They eat this shit up.
Oh, it's both of them. It's
Akiko, yeah. And I don't know if it was like the director being like, hey man, let's do an ode to your dad, or if Akiko wrote that shit where like the crazy background behind them goes nuts.
Absolutely wrote that shit in there. She absolutely wrote that in there.
This has to be, do they just have, is this their walls at home? Like, do they just have these in the house?
They don't have
LED walls. They're just like boom, 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 just dancing all the time.
Yeah, but that's cool. Yeah, but I'll take that. Yeah, I actually want that though. That would be cool.
Yes, that would be cool as shit. And like, honestly, as weird as that fucking show is, because that show's fucking weird. I was like, that's a crazy Easter egg to have.
Right.
A crazy Easter egg. And there's like 5 people on this planet. They're gonna understand that fucking reference.
And we're 4 of them, damn it. So like,
we're 4 of them. There's 2 of us, but we're 4 of them. You 2 at home. You 2 that saw that episode, you're the other 2. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the, we have cake. There's drinks over there. Grab it yourself.
You know what the best part of Shogeki Go Raigen was though? Like the absolute embracing of the ridiculousness. Like they ADR'd the entire show. This guy, like, it's not his voice, but
that's what works so well about Gozyuger. They embrace the insanity of it.
Yo,
like I can't. A lot of people tell me Don Brothers. That's what's kind of enjoying about it. But like, I feel like it was a different kind of embracing for Don Brothers. Again, I saw the first couple episodes, but like, I just like this was so crazy, and maybe just because it was more video game than it was just being fucking weird. The way they embrace it was just so goddamn cool. And like, yeah, they have this ring and they have like a face off and everything, and then like they just go into their mechs and they start fighting, and the mechs just start going at it, and like it's a really cool fight. Like there's one moment in the beginning that is CG, but most of it is them being in the suits. Like it's actual physical suits. And I have to say, the King Candler looks fucking cool.
The Char Gundam, I like that thing, but it was more like the. I don't know, we had been overexposed to the suits, I felt, to this point, but I had never seen it like that, and in movement. And I know you know the sequence I'm talking about, but they showcase a sequence where he's fighting the Ares, right?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I want to talk about the actual henshin though. What did you think about that?
So we got the tease from Tsutsumi, right? So Tsutsumi transforms first into Kuwagata. So we kind of got this like, we got this
a little different, but you clap this thing and then it like,
So we knew what was coming, but we were not. Anyway, so I kind of knew what to expect. Pacing, because it's kind of like the whole dynamic thing, but something about the energy that Hoedo brings to that. I don't know, the slap, it's not my favorite, but I can get with it, you know what I mean? Like the energy that they're doing that shit with, it's different. It's not like
Gozyuger. It's the same kind of thing. Like it's goofy, but like I'm about it,
Right, yeah. So no, I love the henshin itself, but the suit itself and in motion, phenomenal. Oh my god, I couldn't stop staring at it, man. Like I like this suit.
This particular henshin, I did not like. But this is going to be, I wasn't a huge fan. It looked terrible because like obviously it's on a green screen, but like it just looked terrible even compared to the rest of the green screen they were doing that whole episode.
I kind of thought like they were gonna save the really, really good one for when they're all together.
Yeah, and I get it. It's like the first one he does. It's fine. It's not like a real one. Like there was no like roll call aspect to it. Like I feel like this is gonna be the show. I think I saw a clip of it where there's like it's a stock transformation kind of thing, like a stock henshin that they can just throw in there again, which is fine if it is. I'm for it. I love that shit. It's just this one wasn't it, and clearly like it felt like maybe the budget didn't go to that shot as well.
I got it. That's one. It was a little rough.
It was a little rough, but like the suit is the suit itself beautiful. I mean, I've loved these suits since they were revealed. They look fucking great. And yeah, he starts fighting these Ares and then does an actual KOF combo finish, like a KOF super combo on this motherfucker.
Straight up. I was like, that is the deadly rave. That is 2 deadly raves back to back.
Yep, he does the fucking tidal wave kick and just like bounces his head off the fucking ground.
Embodiment, that axe kick. Oh, that axe kick was so good. And then, but anyway, yes.
And then he strikes the pose. Number 1. Winner.
But it wasn't just that. It was also shot in the perspective where it looked like a fighting game. Yep. So like you got like, unfortunately he was 2-player, which is horrendous. But you know,
just switch sides. It's fine. Because the hero has to be on the right in Tokusatsu.
It's weird, but
that's why I'm on the right when you guys are watching. What up?
I hate you too.
I know.
But
it was totally by accident. I just look at this monitor and it makes more sense that I'm looking at him. You know, that's
they actually do.
The hero. Anyway, yeah,
they do. True, you bastard. They did that really well, and I'm really happy like that we got. Hey, sorry. That they didn't make it look weird, and they integrated those kind of shots. Because, like I said, the whole thing felt like an anime. But when they cut it away and they did like the literal fighting game intros, the literal fighting game things, I was like, wow, this is wild and crazy, but it's working. And I really like the energy that they're bringing with this whole thing. But where are we gonna go in 30 episodes? Like, how is this energy gonna keep up?
And like, as long as I'm fine with keeping this for like 10 episodes, like just go with the battle royale aspect, because we got 5 other members. 2 are supposed to show up the next episode. But we have 2 more after that of just like people showing up and their mechs. So that's like, there's probably, we get at least yellow next episode. I doubt we're gonna get both yellow and blue as mechs. So that'll cover the first like 10 episodes or so, and I'm fine with that. If it's just like, let's meet all the characters, see what their quirks are about, that's typical Sentai stuff. Like, you just introduce the team, you know what I mean, build the team, and then you have a couple episodes of them being the team and like getting used to each other, and then we can start digging into Boom Boonger kind of did the same thing, right? Like getting Joe and all them in there and Genba, and then that's when you get into like, Mira kind of has some shit, but like she's also the heart of the fucking team. She just, she's trying to figure out her life because she's got 19 part-time jobs. Joe is Joe, and and like eventually we learn Genba has some shit and all that. And then by the time we kind of dabble in that stuff, that's when the 6th showed up, Sakido.
Yep.
So like, I think it's very doable to take this. I mean, Baki is an entire fucking series based on a tournament arc. So several tournament arcs. Like, you could make tournament arcs work for however many fucking episodes you need them to.
But the one element that they always need. The old guy in the stands who tells you every technique that they're doing.
Absolutely.
Mr. Knows how.
Yeah, you need Mr. Encyclopedia. And I feel like that's what the announcer is there for when they start these fights. Because like, he didn't say anything, but like, I feel like that's what they could do. Or like, that's Tega's voice, whatever.
It works, man.
It's fine. Works. Yeah, no, you could absolutely make this last as many episodes as you need to. I think they're going to need a little bit more, yes, than just the battle royale. Like, you can't just have people show up and do whatever. Like, the reason tournament arcs work is because you're being introduced to a new character, their quirks, and they have to overcome that fight. Taken from the certified PhD in tournament arcs provider right here, because I love tournament arcs. If you guys don't fucking know at this point.
Kind of like our thing here.
It's kind of the bread and butter of the channel.
Kind of.
So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see where this goes. And I think this is a similar strong start that we had with King Ozer and Boom Boonger, which makes me hopeful for the series itself. We'll see. I think it just depends on which aspects of that first episode they end up steering into eventually. If they go more Don Brothers energy, it may fall off for me. But like, if they kind of keep going, like, you can have that air, like I said, that smell in the hallway may not be the most like, it may be a little assaulting to the senses, but like, you can get through the hallway to your apartment. It's fine.
If the hot dog water follows me, I'm gonna be upset.
If every episode is hot dog water, that might get a little old pretty quickly.
Really old.
But I think just introducing the other members, because they all seem to be just as weird and quirky as Tono. We'll see, because like, Yellow is a Tega fanatic. He's like the Church of Tega. And Blue is Blue. He's a cool guy. He was like a former pop star or something, or the actor is, maybe. I forget what his background story was. But like, they're all gonna be something, you know what I mean?
Well, the one thing the Reiwa era does do right is backstories. So I'm sure it'll all pan out.
Yeah.
It'll all be okay.
I just think it's going to depend on how relevant those backstories are to the grand scheme of things.
I'm saying they do them well. I'm not saying they wrap them up very well because now actually, hey guys, sit down because we didn't come here to talk to you about Gozyuger. We came here to sell you something. Please buy the official Blu-ray of Boom Boomger when that's released, because
if it gets released.